Hey guys, how's it going? Got another any match, and don't worry, this is going to be the last one with this team. I actually am getting extremely bored and mad with it. I think I'm going to try a little bit of messing around teams because people seem to like that before I go back to competitive once again. And I am going to try and make a new ladder alt and then do that after. I don't know. There are a couple of, as you know, like I'm always thinking about the sets that I can use, and I just randomly get ideas when I see a move, and I have a bunch of those saved up, and I can put on just to like a messing around team, and yeah, I'll use that, and it'll be really fun. But anyways, this battle, looking at this guy's team, Linoone is a threat if it gets set up, and other than that, I really don't see any threats actually at all, but it is a pretty balanced team, and it's pretty bulky too, except for the primate pretty much, and other than that, I'm going to have to, other than the Masharna, no, not the Masharna, the Linoone, I'm going to have to look out for, I'll be fine. And anyways, we're both leaning off with our pilot swines, not seeing any threats besides the prime ape or the sock. Excuse me, and we both take this opportunity to get our rocks up. He goes for the earthquake, and I'm going to go for the roar, just get him out of there. He goes into his Rotom fan. I'm just going to go for the Ice Shard. I did see the lefties, but I'm like, okay, he's probably the Parafusion set, but he happens to be the rare defensive set, which is actually pretty cool. And now I'm like, okay, he's probably going to switch out or stay in and do something weird, so I decided to Roar instead of Ice Shard because it wouldn't have killed anyways. And he goes into his Meganium. I'm like, okay, the Giga Drain is probably coming, so I'm going to go out into my Superior. But he actually decides to Leech Seed. I thought he was going to go for the Giga Drain or something, but that's good for me. And I'm going to go for this sub here, I believe. And he goes into his Piloswine. And this is where I said in the chat, Icicle Crash is greater than Icicle's. Icicle Spear is greater than Icicle Crash because it probably would have done a bunch to me. But I could have Calm Minded right there, actually, because it would have done that much with the Ice Shard, or less actually. It would have brought me down to 50, and then I could have taken him out and been at +1, but now that he brings in the Primeape, I'm kind of happy I didn't do that. And I go into my Masharna, the defensive monster of a pivot. He just goes for the U-turn. Good play, super effective against my Superior and my Masharna. He goes on his Rotom Fan. I'm like, okay, the Pain Split is more than definitely coming, so I'm going to go out into my Piloswine because it's at a relatively low HP, lowest on my team, and I'm like, okay, you can take that out. Actually, now that I think about it, I might have been able to go to my Superior, but it wouldn't have been a good play because he does have the Primeape and the Linoone to revenge kill me, so I'm happy I just went with that. He takes me out with the Air Slash, pretty cool. Going to my Zeb Strike, and now just going to Volt Switch out of there because I am faster, and that'll be a kill. And if he did want to switch, I could go into something else. And I go to my Skuntank here just because it was the best thing to pair up against every single one of his pokes. If Sock came in, he could have gone into Masharna, Superior, any one of his physical attackers, so it just seemed like the best play. But he does go out into his Primeape, get a little bit of damage off of me. By a little bit, I mean a lot. And he goes into his Linoone. He's going to go for the extreme speed, and I live with a little red HP, and I'm able to roar him out. I went for the roar just in case he wanted to belly drum, predicting the Sucker Punch or something weird like that. He goes into his Masharna, and here I make a ballsy play, but I Sucker Punch, predicting him to have Hidden Power Ground or Signal Beam without seeing it, so that was a pretty risky play, but it definitely did pay off. I usually wouldn't make a prediction like that on a laddering all or something, but I am in overgrow range, and Masharnas are usually physically defensive, so I just went for the Giga Drain, and luckily he doesn't get a Signal Beam crit, which has happened so many times on my Superior. It's crazy how many crits I've gotten from Signal Beam, from like Psychics, Electrode. It's just annoying. I set up to like +3 and then my Superior dies to a crit, but whatever, that's besides the point. I'm going to go into my Masharna. I have 28% after he did 28%, so that's pretty cool. And he goes into his Meganium. I'm like, okay, I want to get at more HP so that I can switch in on one of the physical attackers, and he goes for the Leech Seed. That's alright, because I'm just going to switch on this next turn. And I'm going to go out into my Superior, but sadly for me, he goes to the Giga Drain, and it does take me out. So that sucks, but it's whatever. And now I'm gonna go into my Sock, and this is a kind of key part right here. I go for the close combat, and he barely lives. Now, had that killed, I could have switched out and lived any hit from one of the 2 remaining Pokemon he has, but now that I got that damage from Overgrow, Giga Drain, I'm definitely not going to be able to. But he makes a weird play, goes into his Primeape right here. And on this turn, he's going to send in his Linoone on the down, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay in just in case he predicts me to switch and goes for the Belly Chum, because that would be really awful, so I just made the safe play and stayed in. And now I'm going to go into my Musharna and just go for the Psychic. And he makes a rather strange play, so he goes into his Meganium, and I'm like, gosh, why am I... Okay, he goes for the Giga Drain, and he's at Overgrow range. Actually, I thought he was going to go for the Giga Drain at Overgrow range, and it would do a lot because I don't have any special defense investment, really. But he goes for the Leech Seed, and that was the weird part, and I sped this part up because it's boring. He goes for the Sub, I Psychic. He's seriously not gaining any HP, not losing any. He's staying right at the same amount. So basically what I was going to do is just let my Musharna die. He would be at half HP, about maybe a little over, and then I could bring in my Zebstrika and kill him from half. But here's what happens. I get down to my last life of whatever it is, the Leech Seed, and then he decides to take me out with an Extreme Speed. Now that was a good play, because had he gone for the sub, he wouldn't have gotten as much Leech Seed back, or I think it was the turn after that was my last turn, but either way, that was a good play because, oh my gosh, that is so close to killing with Thunderbolt, but he's going to be able to win the game. So that was a really epic game in my opinion. I had some tough mind games to go through with myself, so leave a like if you enjoyed and look forward to some more variety.